हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी, नाम।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, प्रणाम। Okay, so I guess we should begin. Okay, let's start with the prayers. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Varmanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nanda Kopi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Mancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much to all devotees for joining. You are the reason why I am reading Bhagavad Gita. Only because of you, I'm getting this opportunity, and I'm very, very thankful, very grateful. Please keep blessing me in this way, and please pray for me that I say big things while giving this knowledge, as it is receiving from the Guru Parampara. But I am too on this path of learning and practicing. So, as I tell you all, it is not to instruct you, but it is actually for myself also, so that I can understand and practice it well. And anywhere, if you feel that something has been too instructive, or if someone gets offended, please do connect with me and clarify, because there should not be any doubt in understanding the spiritual knowledge. Probably, based on my lack of communication and knowledge, it might happen that I may say something which is not properly understandable, but I am definitely ready for clarifications. So I'm just hinting, so that any of the instructions that I might say in the class as part of giving the knowledge, it should not hurt anyone, or it should not be misunderstood. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. Thank you for joining. Okay. So, and yes, I want to apologize, because it was a very hectic week for me. And today, since morning, there was no electricity, so I could not prepare the PPT well. I will say the notes. I will say the things, but you will have to take notes today. So probably yes, today we will not have much of PPT sharing. We will share Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and we will read the verses today. So yes, a very quick revision of what we have covered in chapter 2 till now, if someone would like to give. Okay,
Yes, Mataji, I'll try few points.
Yes, sure, Mataji.
I think last class we read from 2.1 to 2.5.
It was from 2.6 to 2.10.
Oh,
but yes, you can give the gist of 1 to 5. That is also fine. Then someone will give from 6 to 10.
Sure, Mataji. Yeah, we saw like the bodily symptoms, and how Arjuna was getting bewildered, by all the material fears and all that. So we saw the detail about the verse and how he's lamenting about the situation and relatives and all that, and then also we saw how the karma akarma that is there, the feeding the poor, it is good, but it's not a transcendental activity as long as we offer it to the Lord and create. Otherwise, it creates the bondage, and also showing compassion on the bodily platform. All that we saw in detail, and mode of goodness, as Srimad Bhagavatam, about that we saw it stands about all the other scriptures. Vyasdeva himself told that the soul platform is the highest, and all that Jnana Shastra, everything follows, all that we saw. And also And also Krishna is asking Arjuna, he's chastising his friend and devotee Arjuna. Like he's asking how these impurities have come upon you. Your thinking is not right. You're a Kshatriya and all that. And we saw a lot of analogies on that exam. You gave us analogy, right? So yeah, so you're behaving like an un-Aryan and all that. It's a degradation to the family, all that he says. And Arjuna is getting confused, and he's giving up the weakness and he's surrendering, and he's also calling him a chastiser, cowardice, and all that.
Who is
So
calling? Who is calling?
Krishna is telling Arjuna, he's calling him Pritha, son of Kunti, and you're a high birth thing. Your position is not like this, but you are behaving like a cowardice, you know. So as a Kshatriya, you should not leave this war. You should be determined and all that we saw. And
Right.
yeah, and so many other things, Mataji. Like you told about the opulences, 6 opulences, and how come you have also killed so many respectable people, like grandfather Ugrasena, Sandipani Muni. You also did that,
No,
but you are
no.
questioning me.
Yes, so that was not you have killed. That's the inner dialogue which
Yeah.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, these are our acharyas. So the
Okay.
acharyas give the inner dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, which is not exactly in Bhagavad Gita, but that is the mood of communication. So let's say
Yeah.
Krishna says a particular point, but Arjun will have a particular question on that. So when Arjun is saying specific words, what is the inner thought of Arjun that is being expressed as that when he's using those words of that you have not killed your like basically the words that he was using, I do not remember, just a second. uh, what is that particular verse wherein he says that like basically he's trying
Harisudana,
to convey that
Madhusudana.
you
Yeah.
have not killed your grandfather or guru, but I am being asked to kill, right? So somehow
Yeah. Yeah.
in his words it is being represented like that.
Yes,
So
Mataji. And last, you
so
gave
that
us
is
the
the inner
example of
thought.
Bhishma. Bhishma could die when he chose to, and he made a vow to remain unmarried for life, the strongest warrior, right?
Yes.
So that you gave. So the day he wanted to leave his body, he can leave. He's high standard devotee, He's performing, they are all performing pastime only for the pleasure of Krishna.
Right.
So the rest you can continue. Someone else can. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, I see Rohini Mataji has raised her hand.
I just wanted to say, like you touched on the aspects of realizing the absolute truth. And what is the very important thing that you touched upon was identity. You made us realize the identity. There are, like you spoke about identity, there are two types of identity, functional and fundamental identity. And what is the difference between that and how Arjuna was struggling. And you also gave the analogy of the judge for us to make us understand it well, which was such a good analogy. So it kind of stuck, there to identifying our real identity, and then about the explanation that how this world is a Durga, and how Durga is the one who is the presiding deity, and the confusion that arises from that. Also, the importance of having a bona fide spiritual master, and what is the meaning of a bona fide spiritual master, and why Arjuna is eligible for this specific knowledge, and the significance of the when Sanjay addresses Lord as Rishikesha and Arjuna as Gudakesha. In this concept, what is the significance? Why was Lord and Arjuna addressed in such a way by Sanjaya? And you also explained about Krishna's smile, why in that text, when the first time Krishna starts his conversation, why he's smiling, the change of relationship. And what that explains to us is, how Krishna reciprocates. So he reciprocates with us the way we connect with him. And then you said now that's from this Saturday, you'll be starting about the knowledge of the soul.
Amazing.
So this was
Thank you so
specifically
much.
from the last Saturday lecture, Mataji.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sindhu Mataji and Rohini Mataji. When actually you all, why this is important that we revise a bit from in the starting of the classes, because I get to know whether I was able to convey the right thing or not when I hear it from you. And I'm so happy that you're catching the right intent. So thank you so much. Okay. So let us begin from the 11th. So basically, like already this revision we have got, that Arjun was still confused. Initially, Krishna told him in the first initial verses, but then Arjun again started giving the reasons, and then he gives the reason of indecision that so Govinda, I shall not fight, and he keeps his bow down. And then later, finally, when he surrenders, Karpanya dosha upahat swabhava, so that particular verse was important, as I mentioned, that finally Arjun surrenders to him. And then after he surrenders, then Krishna will now start to speak. So in the last verse, as Rohini Mataji mentioned, that Krishna was smiling in the midst of the army just because of the change of relation that has happened from a friend to guru. But also Krishna, because he doesn't want to make Arjun feel bad, he's not laughing out loud or something like that. He's just smiling a bit because he also knows that he is going to clear out all the confusions that Arjun has developed. So now, finally, Krishna would start speaking. So let me quickly share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so someone from you can read the words, but please wait after one line because everyone will also repeat after you. So yes, please go ahead. Anyone would like to read?
I'll read
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mata, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Someone is reading.
Okay, Sudha Mataji, you can read.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Ashochanan Vasochastvam
Asochanam
Prajnavadamscha Bhashase
Pratnyavadamscha Bhashase
Gatasuna Gatasumscha
Gatasum Agatasumscha
Nanushocanti Pandita.
Nanushocanti Pandita.
Should I read the translation, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The
Jai.
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so now finally Krishna starts to speak with the authority because finally Arjun has surrendered now. So when we know that someone has surrendered, we can then give the instructions. So this thing I guess we discussed once, that if someone is not surrendered, it is generally not advised that we should give instructions. You would also see when counselors or any other people, any other leaders, devotees who are in that particular position, they would not give instructions to general people unless and until either they know them personally or they know that this particular person is surrendered and will understand the instruction and take it positively. So why this is done? Because Krishna himself does it. Unless and until Arjun is surrendered, Krishna is not giving him instructions. Till now, he was hearing. Once he tried to speak in between, but then again, because it was not the point when Arjun actually surrendered, Arjun was not ready to listen. So he again started giving his reasons of Bhishma and Drona and all that. And then he started crying and left the bow, right? So that is the reason. If, let's say, I'm not in a position to hear from someone, and I'm just in that mood of telling my issues, my problems, this and that, then probably even if someone is giving me good instructions, I will not able to process that instruction. But if I say that, Prabhuji, Mataji, whoever, I am surrendered unto you, I am not understanding what to do in this situation, please guide me. Then that particular senior Vaishnav would take the basically would take the responsibility of guiding us, and then we will also have the responsibility of understanding their instruction and following, because that also happens when we take initiation from guru, right? Guru is not something cheap or just for the namesake that okay, I have a guru, all the people in ISKCON have a guru, I also have a guru. So that's not something that we have to showcase, right? Guru and shishya, that's a very intimate relation. We have to honor each and every word which has been spoken by the Guru, and each and every instruction that he gives. It's not like, okay, I will follow something, I will not follow something else, whichever is favorable to me, whichever is not favorable to me, I will not follow. So that's not the case. And that is why it's not easy to become a disciple, first of all. So that is this particular relation of Guru and Shishya will be taken in detail in the 4th chapter, when Krishna will tell the Guru Shishya Parampara and how Krishna can be realized through that. So here when we see that when Krishna started to speak, the first thing he did was he chastised Arjuna. What is he speaking? While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the dead, nor neither for the living, nor for the dead. Those who are wise. Matlab, Arjun is not wise. Getting it? Basically, Krishna is saying you're a fool. So Krishna is chastising. This also happens when you actually approach a bona fide spiritual master. A bona fide spiritual master will always check the eligibility of the disciple. How can we check the eligibility of a disciple? Only when you're chastised, then our true colors come out. Let's say I am praising a person. Of course, that person will always be coming to me and giving me all respects and everything. How will I actually know that this person really wants to understand this knowledge, or would actually understand my instructions even when problems come upon him? All those things, how I can check? Only when I chastise and that person takes us positively, then it can be understood that this particular person is eligible to become a disciple. So here also, when Krishna is chastising Arjuna, we will see from in the next time when Arjun speaks, how he's taking it. He's not questioning, or he's not doubting what Krishna is saying, right? He's conversing, he's trying to understand. So this is why, and when we see like the other in our parampara also. So when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, when he approached his Guru Maharaj, right? Vamshidas Babaji, sorry. Yes. So when he approached his Guru Maharaj, he also got chastisement, right? You go to your father, you go to this person, you go to that person. Why are you coming to me? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was a scholar, and his Gurudev was, on material sense, illiterate. So he was saying, why are you coming to me? You are a scholar. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he got these titles because he had achieved those titles, right, by very high studies. It is said that when he used to speak English, even Britishers used to put dictionary in front of them. So we can understand that what is the qualification of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Still his Gurudev is chastising him, right? So, and still he wants to take initiation from him alone. He's not going anywhere else. So this proves the sincerity of the disciple, right? So this was one point that I wanted to cover here, that Krishna also is chastising his disciple the moment he says that I'm surrendering to you. It's not like he's getting very good comments from Krishna.
Mataji, his guru name, what you said, Mataji, Hare Krishna? Vamshi.
Yes, no, I guess it's not Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. I just got confused. Just a minute. Can someone please remind me? Somehow I'm not able to recall. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Gurudev.
Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj.
Yes, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry. I just got confused with Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj. Yes. So yes, so basically that is the first thing that we should understand. The other thing is that why Krishna is saying that you are lamenting for something which is not worthy of grief. So the most basic knowledge in spiritual, when we consider from spiritual perspective, is the difference between matter and spirit. If you do not know the difference between matter and spirit, basically you are not right now eligible to understand the spiritual knowledge. So now when finally Krishna is going to start speaking the Bhagavad Gita, he's giving this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the first thing that he wants to clear the illusion of compassion that Arjuna is showing based on the bodily platform. So now Krishna will start speaking the knowledge of the soul to give him the difference between this body, which is matter, and soul, which is the spirit. So difference between body and soul is been given by Krishna here. And this is why he's saying that you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. You're mourning for this body, which is anyhow temporary. So basically, by this, we also understand that how much there is difference in material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. If you go to a particular material institution, you're not having any spiritual knowledge, you will keep studying, PhD, double PhD, so many degrees you will get. But you will never ever understand that there is any spirit, there is any soul, there is any consciousness. Because material knowledge is totally based on matter. The scientist and all the other discoveries happening on the human platform, they are not considering soul or consciousness at all, because that is something which they cannot measure, which they cannot quantify, which they cannot, basically it's not in their area of discovery, because their discovery is based on the senses. If you remember in the initial classes when we discussed that human have 4 defects, right? So one of the defect is we have imperfect senses, and whatever knowledge we gain through this imperfect senses is imperfect. This is what is happening with the material knowledge. The material knowledge is basically based on the senses, and because we have imperfect senses, we cannot gather the knowledge which is beyond our senses, right? So soul, super soul, consciousness, these things is beyond the material spectrum of knowledge, and the spiritual spectrum begins from soul, right? This is the main point. Unless and until someone acknowledges that we are soul, I am a soul, I am not this body, I am being in this body because of my previous karmas, because of my past lives and activities, because of my own desires, and I am basically getting suffered in this body. Unless and until we understand this basic concept, whatever things we have, whatever people we have, they are all connected to the body. Whatever emotions we have, right? So basically, a human being possesses a soul. What is there in this body? First is this gross body that you can see. The other is the subtle body. First is gross material body. Second is the subtle material body. The second subtle material body is what? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. So the mind, intelligence, and false ego is something that you cannot directly see, but they are the covering of the soul. And mind, intelligence, and false ego is not destroyed when this body is destroyed. It gets carried with the soul. Unless and until the soul gets liberated, this subtle body is not destroyed. The mind, intelligence, and ego covering is always there with the soul unless and until we get liberated. So the subtle material body is the second thing. And the third is the soul, which is the innermost portion, right? So these are the 3 things which are there in this particular body. But what happens when we consider only the gross material body? We ignore the subtle material body and most importantly, the soul. And that is the reason we get bewildered. So that is the reason why Arjun is being chastised by Krishna, that you are not, you are speaking learned words. Pandita, you are speaking learned words like a pandit, but then you are not actually, you are lamenting for something which is very temporary. So it happens, right? People speak very big words, but they do not know the basic thing, right? Sometimes we see that in the material world also, that is happening. And Arjun's reason of compassion is being addressed by Krishna here by giving this knowledge of soul and matter and soul. How? Why? Because by this knowledge, the detachment will come. So if I get the knowledge of this body and the soul and the difference and the controller of this body and soul, then because of that knowledge, the detachment will come. And that is why this particular knowledge is important for us also, because someone might say that how come someone gets the detachment after coming to spiritual life? The detachment comes because of understanding of this knowledge. Okay. So, and this basically does not make us hard-hearted. When we say that, okay, I am detached from my family members, I am detached from my friends and my thoughts and my things and all those things, it doesn't make us hard-hearted. It actually makes us more compassionate, because now you can really see the perspective. The right thing with the right perspective, you are now able to see, because you have come up on a level. It's like a maze, right? You are stuck in a maze, but because because now you are on that above platform. You can differentiate between the knowledge and the soul. Now whatever maze is there, you are able to clarify, right? So it's similarly like that. Even when you are dealing with your material relatives, you are dealing with your family members, you're dealing with other things, other important professional duties, you would still be compassionate. You will not be hard-hearted. The best example you can see here is Srila Prabhupada. So when Srila Prabhupada saw that people are hungry and basically he saw that there were some kids who were fighting with the dogs for a piece of food, right? So when he saw that, he started crying and he said that some kilometer range in ISKCON, people should not go hungry. Please make arrangement. Please have the prasadam distribution in a way that so many people in this much radius of ISKCON, they should not go hungry. Everyone within the radius of ISKCON must get prasadam. So this is how a person who is on the level of soul is compassionate to everyone on the soul platform. He wants to give prasadam to all because that is something which is required for the soul. Yes. So basically, when Krishna says that those who are wise, basically what he's saying, here Prabhupada also right, the Lord at once took the position of teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. So why Arjun is being said as a fool is because earlier we saw that he was giving the reason based on Dharma Shastra, that I should not fight because these are relatives. And as per Dharma Shastra, if there has to be a punishment for the aggressors, but because they are relatives, you should forgive them. So he was saying that Dharma Shastra is greater than Artha Shastra, which is right. Artha Shastra is based on politics and Dharma Shastra is based on the higher principles. But he forgot to understand that the Jnana Shastra is even higher than Dharma Shastra. And Jnana Shastra involves this, the difference between the matter and the spirit, right? So that is why, because he is not considering a higher perspective, a higher knowledge, that is why he is being he is being called as a fool. The other important point is that, which is off the track, that although we see that Krishna is saying Arjun fool, but we should not think that Arjun is a fool, because for us, he's basically taking our position, right? We are actually fools because we do not have the difference. We do not have the knowledge, and that is why we get bewildered. And Arjun is taking our position so that Bhagavad Gita could be spoken, right? So Arjun, he was fully realized, but he's being acting in this pastime of getting the knowledge from the Lord. Okay. And so someone might say that, okay, you say that wise men should not lament because we are not this body, we are the soul. Body, it will anyhow die, right? This material body will anyhow going to die. The other point is that the subtle body cannot be destroyed unless I am liberated. So that is something anyhow Arjuna cannot destroy. And the soul is also indestructible, which we will see in the coming verses. So basically, Krishna is saying that you should not lament because this gross body is anyhow going to die. So why are you lamenting, right? So this gross body, subtle body, and soul, these are the three important points we have to understand based on which Krishna is saying this. Right. Now, the answer to this question of why you should not lament for this gross body, right? So that comes in the 2.12. Let us go there. Okay. Someone can read the verse and we can repeat.
Sudha Mataji, go ahead. Sudha Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Nattvevaham jatu nasam.
Nattvevaham jatu nasam.
Natvam neme janadipaha.
Natvam me janadipaha.
Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha.
Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha.
Sarve vayamata param.
Sarve vayamata param.
Translation: Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So yes, one point that I did not cover here in the 2.11 was let's say someone says that, okay, Krishna, you are saying that this gross body is anyhow going to die. So he's telling Arjun that you should not lament for this gross body. So basically, he's telling him to kill them, right? So is this the reason should we go on killing people because anyhow the gross body is going to die? No, right? Because Arjun is not killing them based on his own sense gratification. He's killing them on the dharmic principles because they are aggressors, because they have not followed the dharma. That is why he's being asked to kill, right? So it's not like that because the gross body is anyhow going to die, so okay, go on killing, right? It's not like that. It happens with people who are violent, right? If someone is from that background of terrorist or something, if he reads Gita first time, if he does not get this understanding properly, he'll say, yeah, I'm also doing the same thing. Anyhow, the gross body is going to die, so I'm killing them. So that's not the case. It's not like that. The other point is of the concept of punishment. So now what happens is, let's take a scenario. So there is a king and there are subjects who have done some crime. Okay, so now the thing comes to the court of the king, and the king understands the situation, and based on who is the culprit and who is the actual criminal, he gives the punishment. There are many factors based on which the kings used to give punishment. Some being like what is the varna of that particular person. Let's say Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So a Shudra will get a less punishment as compared to Vaishya. Vaishya would get less punishment as compared to Kshatriya, and then he would get less punishment as compared to Brahmana. Brahmana would get the highest punishment. Why? Because someone with the highest knowledge, if he does a particular crime, he should get more punishment, because after having all this knowledge, how can you do such a thing, right? And based on that, when people are having less knowledge, if they do a particular thing, the level of punishment decreases because they were not having the full knowledge, right? So there are many shastra, artha shastra, which define what is the punishment requirements, right? What is the eligibility and how someone should be punished. Now someone might say, what is the need of punishment, right? But we have to understand, in this case, if the king doesn't give punishment to the subject who is a criminal, then what happens? Then he will get the reactions based on the karmas. So he will have to suffer more either in this life or in the next life. Okay. Other thing, he will have to go through hellish condition of life to get the reactions for those crimes that he has done in a more suffering condition, right? So if a king gives punishment to the subject based on the scriptures, he is helping him to get off that karma in this life itself, so that he can now become a better citizen and he can continue, right? So when we say being compassionate, what is real compassion? That is more important to understand. If a person is just being compassionate that I should not kill this person, but you must kill a terrorist because he has killed so many innocent people, because he's wrong and he's not acting based on scriptures. If you leave him just like that, he's going to suffer even more in the hell and in the next life, right? And also he will have to go through based on the punishment. When he, let's say for example, if a particular person gets lifetime imprisonment or 20 years imprisonment, 20 years that person is like he's getting this punishment of carrying loads from one place to another, breaking stones. Through that mode of punishment, the transformation of heart happens. He's thinking all that while, why I did that thing, I have to break stones for 20 years now, right? So based on the right punishment, even the heart transformation happens. So this is the whole concept of punishment, that if you are being compassionate on the bodily platform, you are not helping the soul, you are in fact degrading the soul. But if you take the if the authority, and no one can give the punishment just like that, there has to be an authority. So just like I mentioned, there has to be a king. So if a king, he is authorized to give punishment, a guru is authorized to give punishment. So someone who is authorized, he also takes the responsibility. There are also guidelines on the king. If a king gives less or more punishment, he also has to take the reaction. So there are many subtle things in the scriptures. And as per Varnashram system, those who follow this properly, they live a very peaceful life. But nowadays it has all gone wrong, and that is why we can see how the society is degrading. Okay, so that was one point that I wanted to cover from 2.11. The next comes is uh, why should why should we not limit for the living or the dead, right? That was being discussed in 2.11. So the 2.12 gives this reason that never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be, right? So what Krishna is saying is that because all individuals exist eternally, why you should not lament is that the soul is eternal eternally. And also Krishna is giving the concept of individuality here. So in later part of Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Right? So Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, eternally and fragmented. The living entities are my separated fragmental parts, right? Krishna says. Fragment is something which is separated from you, right? Separated means it's not going to merge in you. It is separated. But because it is part of you, it has similar qualities. So we as souls, we are Anu and Krishna is Vibhu. So we as Anu, we have qualities like Krishna, but that in very less quantity. And Krishna is the full of everything, right? So here, this individual concept is so important to understand. Prabhupada gives this a very nice purport Prabhupada gives here, and he's also trying to convey the same point, that what is the concept of Mayavad? Mayavad says that we are going to get merged in the Brahman, the supreme Brahman. So the individuality of mind would be lost. Basically, there's a supreme Brahman, and when I'll get liberated, I will get merged in that supreme Brahman. So there is no difference of identity between me and the supreme Brahman. Everything would be supreme Brahman. This is what is the Mayavad concept. But as per Bhakti Yoga, and as we have seen, Brahman, the sun disk, sun rays example, right? That the sun, this is on the level of sun rays, on the Brahma Jyoti level. But the actual realization of the absolute truth is the Bhagavan aspect. So we are not going to lose our identity either when we are in this material world or when we are going to get liberated. So this is the most important point wherein many people get confused. Many people who are not into proper bhakti yoga, they have this concept of कि सब light hai, everywhere is light, and we are also going to become light, right? So this is a very vague concept of God, which is very prevalent everywhere. And that is the reason it is very important that here Krishna is defeating this concept in this particular verse. So as crudely it must be put in our brain through since childhood or something, but this is what we have to understand, that Krishna is a supreme eternal and he's the maintainer of all beings, conditioned beings as well as liberated beings. Krishna is the maintainer. And we are never going to get merged with Krishna. Krishna will have his separate identity and we will always have our separate identity. Okay. So this is the most important thing. Through Kata Upanishad, Prabhupada gives here, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, right? That particular verse Prabhupada gives here, if I can scroll down. So here Prabhupada is also saying the same thing. Like for example, if there is a particular candle and that candle is the source candle, it lights up the other candles. Okay. So now there are so many similar candles, but the source candle remains the same. Similarly, Krishna is the supreme source, right? From him, all of the living entities are coming in. But now all the other candles are there. We are also similar fragmented parts of Krishna, but we are not going to get merged in Krishna or in Supreme Brahmajyoti. Okay. I hope this particular concept is clear with everyone. If not, then please let me know because this is an important thing. Someone has any doubt here? Okay. Okay, fine. So I'm considering that everyone is able to get this particular point. Now, someone would like to repeat it here because I wanted to be doubly sure. If you can raise your hands.
Which one we have to repeat, Mataji?
Sure, Mataji. . Yes, Mataji, you can say. I guess you are muted, Mataji.
Was
Mataji,
it Uma Devi Mataji?
I guess Sindhu Mataji, you have raised your hand.
yeah.
Yes,
I'll read. I
Mataji, you
thought
can.
someone is reading. So,
No, we don't have to read. I'm saying that, can you repeat the concept that we just discussed?
oh, okay. Yeah, Mataji, we were just discussing about this why not to lament. That is the question, right? We started at the verse 12. And that you
Basically what I'm saying is this
example you're
concept of what is Mayavad concept and what is this particular individuality concept, eternally individuals. What is that concept? Yeah, I can see Rohini Mataji raised her hand. Someone,
Hare Krishna
Himani
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare
Sudha
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
is trying to say
And the Mayavad concept is that after the liberation, like they feel that the soul will get merged with the Brahman, and it will become one. It will not lose. And it doesn't lose this individual existence. It will merge, and they are like supreme Brahman. Like we merge with the Brahman, and we become the supreme Brahman. And then you told about that like Krishna's telling about that candle thing, which is a source, and even if you light any number of candles, the source will not get, it will remain the this thing like source, like, and all other candles will also give light, but the main light is coming from the source. That is what I
Right.
understood from this puppet Mataji.
Yes. So basically, if someone says that after liberation, are you going to lose your individuality? Are you going to get merged? So the answer is no. Okay. So that is the main thing. Thank you, Sudha Mataji, for confirming. Okay. So sharing back my screen. Yes. So now so basically we discussed the individuality concept and why Krishna is saying in the first 2.11, Krishna said that you should not lament unnecessarily because this gross body is going to get destroyed. And Arjun might question that why we should not lament, right? Why we should not lament? So because Krishna is saying in the second verse that all individuals exist eternally. So he's saying that no one is going to die. Basically, you cannot kill. So Krishna is giving that answer that why you should not limit, because although you are killing, but you're not killing the soul. That particular individual is anyhow going to exist eternally. So this is being covered in 2.12. Now Arjun might have this question that how can someone not lament for people, for bodies of the people he's attached to, right? I can say that, okay, you should not lament, but what if my relative dies, right? And I'm very attached to that particular relative. So anyhow, I am attached to the body of the relative, right? I'm not attached to the soul. So Arjun might question that how can someone not lament? So the question of how can someone not lament comes in 2.13. So here it is very famous verse. It's not wrong. So let me read it. Let me take the advantage because I know this one. Dehi nosman yatha dehe.
Dehinosmin yata dehe
Kaumaram yovanam jara.
Kaumaram
kumaram yauvanam jara
Yatha dehantara praptir.
Tata
Dehantara prapti
Dhiras tatra na muhyati.
Dhiras
Yes. So now we see translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So Krishna is saying Arjun is having a question of how we cannot lament for this body with which we are attached to, right? So this is the reason which Krishna is giving, that the soul is changing dress as part of, like, changing bodies is like changing dress, and because this change is natural, it is going to happen anyhow. We have changed our body from this childhood when we were small infants to our boyhood, and then later to our youth, and then to our old age. When we have not lamented for all these changes all throughout these years, then why should we lament when this body is getting changed altogether, right? So this is the particular thing which Krishna is telling Arjuna in this particular verse. And we should not get bewildered, right? The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change, because he understands that this is natural, this is going to happen, right? The soul changes bodies as person changes the garments. So now here comes that there are two factors which decides the next body. This will also come in the 8th chapter again in detail. So here the first point is the activities that we have done all our life. Whatever activities I have performed all my life, this is this is going to decide what would be my next life. Along with that, what am I remembering at the time of death? So, and this is very much connected, because whatever we are doing as part of activities all our life, that constitutes our consciousness, and that also constitutes our subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So my mind will have impressions of all the things that are being carried out in this life, right? It also have impressions of the previous life. That is another topic. So now whatever I have done, if let's say I'm watching movies. I'm totally in the illusion of movies, and I'm in the sense enjoyment. So at the end moment also, I will remember the characters of the movies. Let's say if I remember some particular heroine who looks very beautiful, I'll get a body of that heroine in the next life. So that is what happens, right? This is how the body changes. So these are the two factors which are deciding the next body of the soul. Yam yam vapi smaran bhava, that words particularly. So now, based on this thing, uh, there can be an like, this is how Krishna is trying to explain Arjuna that you are mourning for the bodies of Bhishma and Drona, right? But Bhishma and Drona are pious people. They have been doing pious activities all their life, right? And they are anyhow of old age. So when they change this body, when you kill them and they change this body, they are anyhow going to get either heavenly bodies which are free from miseries, or they might also go back to Godhead, which is spiritual world, which is the perfect going back, right? So in any case, either they get heavenly bodies, or if they go to the spiritual world, they are anyhow going to get out of the miseries of their current bodies. So you should rejoice. Krishna is saying, because this change is natural, you should rejoice instead of lamenting. You must rejoice that, oh, this is a good thing, that my particular person who is suffering in this body with since so many years, he is now going to get liberated of this pain. So now, when Krishna gives this particular thing, that basically you should rejoice because of this. So then Arjun might have this question that, okay, I am happy that they are going to get good bodies now, and they are going to get a good birth now. But what about me? I am attached to their body, and I am getting separated from them. So even if they get a new body, even if they get a good birth, and even if their particular material suffering ends because of the body right now they are
They should
into.
drink the oats or green tea.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry. So basically, my senses and my mind are burning because of this, right? Because of the separation that will happen, and I would be suffering that separation. So now in the next verse, Krishna answers this question. And this also is a very famous verse. It is also very important for all spiritual seekers. Okay. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya
Matrasparshastu Kaunteya
shitoshna sukha dukkhada
शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखदा
आगमापायिनो नित्यास्
आगमापायिनो नित्याः
तां तांस्ति तिक्षस्व भारत.
तां स्थितिस्व भारत.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, Oskiana of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So this is a particular sutra which is so important either for both material people and spiritual people, because this is so important to understand that these happiness and distress that we are facing in, and we are basically getting attached to them, right? But we have to understand that you must tolerate. What Krishna is saying is one must learn. If Arjun says after so many reasons of the soul is eternal and the body is temporary, it is anyhow going to get destroyed and they will get a new body and they will rejoice in the next birth. But still Arjun is having the same question, that how can I rejoice, because I will lose the people, I will lose the enjoyment that I'm getting from them, right? I'm attached to their bodies and their bodies will be gone. So I'm going to suffer. So now Krishna is giving important answer that you must tolerate Arjun, right? Without being disturbed. So here the other important thing also comes is in the execution of duties, we must also learn to tolerate the dualities, right? So here the duality that are being discussed is like Shita Ushna, right? Heat and cold, Sukha Dukha, happiness and distress. So all these type of dualities, anyhow, we are going to get in the material world. So we must tolerate them. So here, Prabhupada gives a very nice example that like a mother, she is cooking for her children. So it's very easy to cook during winters because it's not hot in the kitchen. But as we all have, we have so many Matajis here in this call, they can definitely agree. It's very difficult to cook during summers, right? We can make some arrangements of this and that, but specifically cooking is very tough during summer, especially when you are in the hotter regions of the Indian continent and all. So what happens is still the mother cooks for the child, tolerating the heat. Why? Because giving food to the child is more important. So she is not getting off her duty of giving food to the family, giving food to the children just because she cannot tolerate the heat, right? Because it is too hot. So she is doing her duty. That is the same way we also have to do the duty by tolerating all the dualities. Okay. And he is using two important words here. One is Kaunteya and the other is Bharata. So through Kaunteya, he's giving the great heritage of Arjuna through his mother, right? From his mother's side. And through Bharata, he's pointing to the great heritage he's carrying from his father's side, right? He's a descendant of Bharata dynasty. So why Krishna is giving this particular, why he's calling Arjuna by these names is, you will also see that when we are bewildered by some dualities, by particular things that are happening, some problems in our life, what the motivational people do, motivational speakers do, they give you an identity. Oh, you have been born in such a good family. Oh, you have been getting so many good grades. Oh, you have been performing excellent throughout the years. How can you disappoint yourself? How can you disappoint your family, right? This is the way. Again, the same concept of Sambandh Abhiday Prayojan. Someone gives you a good identity so that you become fixed in your Abhiday, right? I will not be motivated to work more if I'm not getting convinced with my identity. So now let's say even as a spiritual seeker, if I get bewildered in discharging my spiritual duties, if someone tells me that, oh, you belong to this Gaudiya Madhva Vaishnav Sampradaya, you have been in the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are getting the greatest knowledge, and you are mourning for these things, you are mourning for material obstacles, you are mourning for small obstacles in your life. Do you see Srila Prabhupada? He was in this age of 70 years, he has gone to America. So now when someone gives me this particular heritage that I am connected to, then I will become motivated to do my duty, right? So this is what Krishna is doing. He's giving that identity that you are in the heritage of Kaunteya, you are the son of Kunti Maharani. So Kunti Maharani is such a big devotee. She has been tolerating so many things all her life, right? She was always discharging her duty, tolerating the dualities. You are from the heritage of Bharata. So you are in such a big dynasty and you are mourning for these material bodies, right? So this is what Krishna is trying to convey in this particular verse. And also, so basically, even when we face personal challenges, we must discharge our duties. And what will happen because of this? That will be covered in the next verse. That what will happen? Someone might say that you are saying, Krishna, you must tolerate, you must tolerate. Why should I tolerate? What is the reason that I should tolerate so many things? Why should I not give importance to my sense enjoyment, my sense happiness? Why I should tolerate? So the why I should tolerate, this answer comes in 2.15. Yes. So yes, someone, Sudha Mataji, you only can go ahead. Okay, just a minute. We have a question.
Okay, Mataji.
Momita Mataji, can please ask your question?
Mataji, it was regarding the last verse. Like, we can control many things, but when it comes to our family, trouble or something, and especially our kids, then we are unable to control. So
Yes,
I
so
have,
that happens, Mataji, two things. The first is we are not established well in this knowledge of soul and body. The other is the controllership thing, right? So even when we come to the bhakti life, we still have the controlling mentality. So bhoktaram yagya tapasam. So that is what we have to remember. The actual controller is Krishna. So yes, you can ask your question first, and then we can discuss.
So like I try like something, whatever, if I get disturbed or like from other people, it doesn't affect me. If someone say me something or whatever, actually it doesn't affect me. I've noticed this thing since many months, but as soon as it comes, like some problem comes to my child, then there is a problem. Then I realize, no, I have not able to control my, sense. Not anger exactly, maybe anxiety, maybe anything you can say. Like I get panic or something like that. So my question is that how to control this thing, like how
Yes,
to
so
control.
Mataji, I can totally agree with your point because it happens with everyone, right? So there are many points to it. One is that we are going to get kicked off in this material world. How are we going to get kicked off? Through family, through relatives, through friends, through office people, through so many ways, right? Krishna is going to give all these obstacles to make us understand that this world is not to live in. I have to go back to my actual identity. That is one important thing. But I should not love Krishna because I hate the material world. That is a wrong conception, right? If I say that I love Krishna, I should love Krishna because I am attracted to him, I am obliged to him, I am having a relationship with him. It should not happen because I hate the material world, I love Krishna. That should not happen. So this is a different perspective, right? But definitely all the sufferings that we are going to get in this material world, the only purpose is to make us realize of this main important thing, that this is not for me. Like this material world is not for my enjoyment. I have to go back to Krishna. That is one realization that we must get, right? Padam padam yat vipadam, right? That is the important thing which is need to be realized. The other point is that based on, so we have to understand how the karma works, right? We have been doing so many activities since so many births. We do not remember any of them. So whatever we have done in our previous life, based on that, the material nature makes us come in a particular arrangement in this life, right? The material nature works perfectly. There is no chance that the material nature will give me some reaction which I was not entitled to. So because why? Because material nature is Krishna's energy. She is as powerful as Krishna. Krishna has given her this duty of keeping the living beings entangled in this material world by giving them action and reactions, right? So the situation that would arise in my family or in my surroundings would be based on my previous activities, and those things would be coming back to me, right? So that would be another thing to understand. And Amrendra Prabhuji says, yes, I would just like to complete, Mataji, then I'll take your question. Amrendra Prabhuji says that one thing we must always keep reminding ourselves is that Krishna is my best friend. He knows the best
Okay.
for me. And second is,
Yes.
he will not give, Krishna will not give me something which I do not, which I should not get, right? He
Yeah.
is the supreme right. So the supreme right will not give something wrong to another person, right? He is
Yeah.
doing the best thing for me. So when we
Yes.
keep reminding us of these two things, that Krishna is my best friend and Krishna is not giving me something wrong, he is giving me the best thing for me, right? For me to get
Yeah.
purified. So when we remind ourselves of these two things, then we will have the faith on whatever Krishna is giving it to me is right, and then we will not question that why this is
Yeah.
happening to me, right? So then we
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be a bit calm in obstacles of our life. Yes,
Yeah.
you can ask
Yeah.
a question now.
That means, ma'am, like any suffering we are going through, yeah, it's coming in our life. It's just Krishna is giving us just to make us realize something, or maybe make us understand something. Like we have to
Yes,
take in this way.
understand something as in,
Like,
see, so we have to see the acharyas. When we see that the acharyas have gone through so many material obstacles, health obstacles, so many obstacles, but were they bewildered? No.
no,
How
no
how could not they be bewildered? Because they were firmly fixed in this knowledge of Krishna, and
consciousness.
they were
Yeah.
surrendered to Krishna,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
this surrender will not come unless suffering comes. If I'm in a happy situation, I will not remember Krishna because I would be grateful. Thank you, Krishna.
True.
But that
True,
surrender
Mataji.
will not happen.
Yes.
Surrender happens only during suffering. Draupadi was trying to protect herself. She was trying to keep her one hand in sari and one hand she was trying to call Krishna. Krishna did not come because at some point of her brain, she was having that thing that I can still protect myself. That is why she was having that one hand. But then she realized that I cannot protect myself. This is out of my ability. I'm totally lost. Like I cannot do anything for myself. I'm totally lost. Then she put
Yeah.
up both her hands and then she called out, "Hey Govinda," right? Then
Yes.
Krishna came in the form of infinite sari. So that particular, when we read Bhagavatam is full of this only. Bhagavatam
Yes.
is the story, one devotee after another, after another, after another. They are facing problems, but in those problems, they are surrendering to Krishna. And because they are surrendering to Krishna, they are sober, they are calm, and then they are going back to Godhead. So this is the reason Bhagavatam must be heard every day. Every day means every day. Make it a point. That should be our life goal. That I must at least, if I'm not reading Bhagavatam, at least I must hear the Bhagavatam in this lifetime fully
Yeah.
from a devotee. That should be our goal. Because when we hear Bhagavatam, our heart gets purified and we get the strength to face obstacles and difficulties in our life. Why at this point of time we are getting bewildered because of obstacles is because our hearing and our surrenderance is not strong. Our conviction is not strong. Once we get the
Yeah.
conviction strong, it becomes easy to tolerate. So that is what is happening here also, right? Krishna is giving the
Yeah.
knowledge of the soul, and based on the knowledge of the soul, this basic detachment will come. And if still there is some pain or of separation that Arjun is feeling, then Krishna is saying that you must tolerate.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare
Also,
Krishna.
one more, thank you, Mataji,
Mataji.
but one more point that I wanted to
Yeah.
convey here, because this has happened with other devotees, is that many times it happens. This might not be your case. I'm not pointing out to
Yeah.
you, but this can be with any other people. That sometimes it happens that if there is an assault in the family, if there is a particular, if you are being beaten up or something like that, so submissiveness is not equal to slavery. When we are being told to tolerate, when we are being told to be submissive, it does not mean that we have to become slaves, right? So at any point of time in any of the sessions, if someone tells, if someone is teaching tolerance, if someone is teaching submissiveness, it does not apply to such situations. Okay, it applies to normal situations. Anyhow, there would be obstacles and problems, but specifically to the cases of assault, to the cases of terrorism or such, it's not advised to tolerate. Okay, so I just wanted to make it clear. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I'll just share 2 minutes my realization.
Sure, Mataji.
It's not a question. Actually, you are telling about this great heritage, Prabhupada, I mean, how the motivational speaker, by their words itself, they, change our everything, perspective. Like that, for me, 1 month I've been undergoing this tooth cut treatment, okay? So doctor was telling me, I was like, literally, initially, I used to cry a lot for everything, you know, because I was just back from 2 yatras, and I don't know, the air and the food or everything didn't suit me, and I fell sick also. And after that, only I developed this tooth problem and all that. So he was telling me, you are a devotee. You are chanting Krishna 1726 times, something and all. You're chanting. You have, I'm surprised how you are crying like that. Just that one word, Mataji. I underwent, I tolerated 1 month, everything is over now. The treatment also, yeah. So I just wanted to show this, example, like that word, it like boosted me so much. He was just saying, you are a devotee of Krishna. Why should you cry like that? Why should you even lament about the pain? It's just, it's coming, it's going to go. Like that, I was going on for 5-6 sittings. Removing the extracting and then having ice cream, extracting ice cream, only soft foods. So now, now I'm all right. And again, I have to go just for normal checkups. That's all. No, I'm just telling, I just wanted to share this, that was a very great motivation that time. That one word,
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing your realization. This happens. Sometimes Krishna gives us motivation through other people also. Sometimes we forget that we are devotees. We are aspiring devotees, but because we have been doing something for Krishna, Krishna is so grateful that through other people, he'll try to make us realize that, oh, you are a devotee.
Yes,
How can you be
Mataji.
so
And I didn't
intolerant?
even know the pain, touched. He was telling other people who are coming, they suffer a lot. The same case what you're undergoing, they suffer a lot. They keep complaining, they keep taking tablets, vomiting. But you have not showed any symptoms. You are healing very, very, very fast. It's all because you see, so I was like so motivated, and then I was like, for this I cried so much. Like I was scared actually, shivering literally, because I have never been to doctor much and all. I used to always follow home remedies, So yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing your realization. This is also important for us. Okay, so just covering this one verse, and then we can stop for the class. So in this particular verse, 2.15, okay, we did not read this one, right? Yes. Anyone can please read this?
Hare Krishna. Mataji, may I read?
Yes, sure, Prabhuji.
Yam hi na vyabhante
Yam hi na vyathayanti ete
purusham purusharbha
purusham
Purusham
purusharshava
Purusarsabha
samadukha sukham dhiram
Samadukha
sukham
Sukham
dhiram
Dhiram
so amritavaya kalpate.
somritattvaya kalpate.
Kalpate.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Who best among men, Arjuna? The person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is studying both is certainly eligible for liberation. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhagavan.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So in the last verse, Krishna was telling him to tolerate the heat and cold, the happiness and distress, right? Again, you would see he's saying sama dukkha sukham dhiram, right? One who is not disturbed by happiness and distress is steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. So why you should tolerate? This is the biggest reason. Why we must tolerate is because we want to become eligible for liberation. Every life, punah punah charvita charvananam. We are chewing the chewed. We are again doing the same thing. We are getting entangled in material life, family life, this, that, school, college. Again and again, the same thing. The same thing happens in the pig life. The same thing happens in the dog life. Same thing happens in the human life, right? If we are not making ourselves eligible for spiritual life, right? So we are doing the same thing. We are chewing the chewed. This life I will feel, oh, I must like I must enjoy with my spouse. I must enjoy with my children. Oh, what will happen if I do not enjoy with them? Right? People will keep on doing the same thing again and again. They are doing the same thing in this life also again and again, every Sunday, every Monday, the same thing. And this is also happening in the same thing in every life. When Indra became pig, so Lord Brahma got compassion on Indra. He came to pig or yes, I guess pig. So then he came to him. He said, "Oh, you are Indra. Uh, I will take you back. Come with me. I'm getting compassion on you. I'll take you back." So pig, the Indra, who is basically in the pig body, he says, "No, I'm comfortable. I'm enjoying. See, these piglets. They are so cute. They are my kids. See this, my wife, pig wife, she's so nice. I'm very happy with her. I do not want to go anywhere." Right? So a pig gets happy in eating stool. Can you imagine? How can someone gets happiness in eating stool? It is such a degraded way of life, right? Still, the pig is happy, which is very evident through this particular pastime of Indra, right? We are not. I am not saying this. Indra is saying this, and not Brahma is confirming. So this is how we become entangled. We become comfortable in our material life. We become comfortable in the obstacles. We see, everyone is suffering. I am also suffering. What is new in this, right? So we do not want to get liberated. This is what happens. So here Krishna is saying that when we are coming to spiritual life, right, there will be obstacles. Even in material life, there will be obstacles, but we must, a steady person will not get disturbed by them, and he will be happy. He will be steady in happiness and distress. So this quality of tolerating, right? Why I should tolerate? Because I want to get liberated. For permanent reason. Every time I'm getting this material, what I can say, like material obstacles, sufferings, pains, mental anguish, physical pain, so many things I'm going through in each body. If I get liberated, anyhow, I'm going to get liberated from all these sufferings, right? Once and for all, end of all sufferings, end of all pains. So why I should not work hard for this? A normal particular student who wants to get into IIT, they leave everything and they study like anything for years and years just because they want to get into that one institute, right? We are aspiring for the highest planet of the creation, Golok Vrindavan. And I'm crying for very small issues in my life. So what is my goal and where I am and why I should not tolerate to go there? If I can tolerate the urge of enjoying by going to movies with friends, if I'm telling them no just because I want to study, because I want to go into IIT, why can I not reject all the unfavorable situations to because I want to continue in bhakti, right? So this is a question that we must ask ourselves, and that will give us strength to tolerate the dualities. That will give us strength to tolerate insults, tolerate doubts on us, tolerate so many things that will come on us, right? Everything will come on us. We are not going to get spared. Do not think that we are going to get spared. Krishna will Maya will kick us in every way just so that we leave bhakti. She is looking for one crack in our consciousness. Problem is we are having multiple cracks. Multiple cracks we are having, and she is going through each and every crack to disturb us from the core of our hearts, just to not surrender to Krishna. This is what is her duty, right? So now what we are doing is we are getting attached to those pain and suffering, and then we are leaving Krishna. His Grace Vraj Bihari Prabhuji, I was listening to one of his lectures yesterday. He was saying, if someone stabs you on your stomach with a knife, do you take out the knife or do you stab it even more inside? You do not stab it even more inside yourself, right? You will not do that. You will take it out. What happens with us is, when I am getting a suffering and I keep cribbing about it, without seeing the hand of Krishna, without seeing the ultimate, what is basically why Krishna is arranging this situation for me. What is my learning point in this situation? If I'm not seeing all of that, and I keep cribbing on that particular pain and suffering again and again and again, I am doing the stabbing. I'm stabbing myself even more. Someone stabbed me with a knife and I'm stabbing myself even more if I'm not realizing the goal of that suffering in that situation. So what is the difference between a dhira and a person who is not dhir, who is not steady in these disturbances, is this consciousness. A dhir person would be steady because he would be able to see the ultimate arrangement of Krishna in such situations, and he would be able to face them with gratitude, saying, Krishna, you have given me less, I deserved more. Thank you so much. Please protect me. Please protect my consciousness. He will keep praying. If you read the journey home, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj goes through so many different conditions, so many allurements, so many obstacles. The important thing is, in every situation, he is praying. He is praying continuously. The whole book is about how a person can always pray. So when we read such a particular, the story of such highly elevated souls, we understand that this is the consciousness I want to develop. And then we would be able to become eligible for liberation. So this is the whole purport of 2.15. So I hope you all are also reading Prabhupada's purports. If not, please start every day, just 2 or 3 pages also you can do. It would help a lot. So any questions, comments, realizations, anything that anyone wants to share? Okay, so we are above
Hare
the time
Krishna
today.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
In this material world, it is Dukkalayam and Shashvatam. So the only mantra we have to follow is tolerance. We should keep on tolerating everything, whatever comes. So that is the outcome of this today's class, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. Just I'm repeating the connection between the 5 verses that we have covered. In 2.11, Krishna chastises Arjuna, saying that you should not lament unnecessarily, right? Arjun might question that why I should not lament for the living or the dead, right? Because these relatives are connected to me, why I should not lament. So in 2.12, Krishna says that because these individuals are always existing, they are anyhow not going to die because they are souls and this material body is destructible, but the soul is eternal. And then Arjun might have this question of how can someone not lament for this body? Because he's attached to that body, he must lament, right? So how can someone not lament? So then in 2.13, Dehi Nosman, Krishna says that this is a natural process. The soul is changing bodies just like we are changing clothes. So are we lamenting for changing clothes? No. So similarly, we should not lament for changing bodies. In fact, we should rejoice because they will get a better birth and a better body, right? And where we saw the example of Bhishma and Drona. Again, Arjun is saying that I'm happy that they are going to get good bodies, but how can I still not be affected by this because I'm getting separated from them? My senses and my mind are burning, right? Because of separation from them. So then Krishna says in 2.14 that you must tolerate, and we must tolerate these dualities. And if Krishna says, Arjun says, why I should tolerate these much of duality, so much of pain and suffering of killing my relatives, why I should tolerate these? Then in Krishna, in 2.15 says, Krishna says that this tolerance will make you eligible for liberation. Okay, so this is the connection between all the verses of Krishna giving knowledge, Arjun asking question, Krishna giving knowledge. And this Arjun asking question is basically the internal dialogue, right? Okay, so you can, based on that, you can understand. So thank you so much. I'm very grateful, very happy to serve you all. Thank you so much. Because of you, actually, really, I'm saying this, it's not just words. I'm really thankful because of you, I'm able to understand Gita more. And I'm for anything that I might have spoken wrong is all because of my inabilities and wrong bad sadhana. But everything that is good and that you could understand and it helps you in becoming more stronger in bhakti is all because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and all the senior Vaishnavas and Acharyas. So thank you so much. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hare
Mataji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank